thank you for joining us once again. I have Mama View Sabwaje feeling all chilled.
Ta-da!
How are you?
You know when you say I have Mama View Sabwaje, like, you know,
Mama View Sabwaje.
like I'm big.
Yeah.
Like I'm coming in grand style, you know?
Who pays DSTV bills in the house? And when... Anyway, how are you?
Roland.
Charlie, but it's a birthday of Mrs. Whitney Boachimenta. It's your birthday today.
Oh, it's her birthday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please have a great birthday.
Yeah.
Know that your cake is on all of us.
No. Listen, if anybody would rely on that, it won't be with me. I certainly would see pictures
and then my friend, the pharmacist in Boku came to Accra. So I want to say Sally for combat from Combat Pharmacy, and he's also a pharmacist. He is with the Boku Presbyterian Hospital, and the wife Flora. Have a good morning, as well as the rest of the children.
So Whitney shares a birthday with a friend's wife.
Wow.
A very good friend of mine, Frances Aban, is your wife's birthday today.
Wow.
Eunice Aban is your birthday.
Eunice.
Happy birthday to you from the Toto family, from the Aban family, obviously from your husband, and from all of us. We wish you very, very happy birthday, Eunice. Enjoy the day.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yo.
Okay, so if it's your birthday and you haven't heard your name, well, we love you. We wish you a very happy birthday today. May God bless you in all of the ways. Yeah. Okay, let's do the newspapers. In the absence of the Daily Graphic, at least for now, we'll do the others, the Times, the Statesman, the Finder, the Daily Guide, the Dispatch. We've got the Custodian as
today.
well. Okay, so very few newspapers.
So start with the Ghanaian Times.
The Ghanaian Times newspaper, we will arrest decline of city. President assures business community. So we're here last week talking about how this was missing in the State of the Nation address. The president's been talking about the city. We'll share details with you. President congratulates Nigerian President Buhari on re-election. Is also another headline on the front page of the paper. NPP condemns alleged Ofosu-Ampofo leaked tape. There was a whole press conference yesterday to address this particular situation. New power distributor takes over ECG tomorrow. There's some petroleum price indicators as of 26th February 2019. But on the back page, construction of 100,000 housing units in the offing, and whole assembly takes delivery of 200 street lights. So these are the headlines in the paper. Let's check out what's in the center spread. Oh, so details of we arrest city decline of city, and then no power tariff increase until end of second quarter, according to the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. Also, President appoints 2 new envoys. So President appointed Eudora Hilda Korte Kranting and Dr. Winfred Ni Okaeham as Ghana's ambassadors to Italy and Egypt, respectively. Remember that in Egypt, it was the former Gender, Children, Social Protection Minister who declined to take up this appointment. And so now we've had somebody being appointed to the position.
Yeah. And as I go on to the next, Robert Coleman, Chief Executive for Wembley Sports Complex. Good morning to you. You are wishing a happy birthday to Theodoric Segbethia, who is the sales manager for Rana Motors. He says, happy birthday, FO. Okay, Robert, it's been a while.
Hey, wait. Whose birthday?
Segbethia, Theodoric Segbethia.
Oh, okay, cool.
Of Rana Motors.
So okay, no, we'll talk about that another day.
All right. So let's look at the Daily Guide newspaper. It has on the front page, we will arrest the dollar. And then leak tape, NDC Plus to kidnap smears and insults for 2020. Other stories on the front page of the Daily Guide newspaper. We have take NDC threat seriously. We have a picture attached. Yabwa Benga Samoa is the Director of Communication for the MPP. He's also Member of Parliament for Adentan. No light bill increment till June, and this one is coming from the PURC. That's a good one there. But we have a couple of stories already. We have the center spread of the News One pullout of the Daily Guide. It has the stories. Record labels bagging me for sex. Feli Nuna says. R. Kelly went from jail to McDonald's. And then we have D Black was nobody when I started. Young Rich. Okay.
Everybody was nobody when they started.
Yeah. And President opens Sentio Ceramics Factory. It's on the Temakbone Road. That's a good one there. I was happy to see that because, you know, I'm always around those areas, so I knew the factory very well. So that's a good one.
Okay, so let's do the Business Finder newspaper, front page of the Business Finder. Electricity, greater efficiency ahead as PDS takes over operations. And then the story is also in the Finder today. Will arrest decline of city, says the president. Economic hardships still persistent, according to the Trades Union Congress, the TUC. A summary of the market also on the front page of the paper. Okay, nothing significant in terms of headlines in the center spread. So,
what were you expecting?
No, Ghana, fourth fastest growing economy in Africa, according to the IMF. Currently, the 11th biggest economy in Africa, that's Ghana, is expected to become the fourth. So it's a projection. All right. Okay, details of that in the Finder today. It turns business on Thursdays. But the Daily Statesman, Ofoswampofo, in his own words, a transcript of the NDC National Chairman's shocking tape. That's also on myjoyonline.com. So if you haven't heard it, whether doctored or, you know, okay. It's on myjoyonline.com. You can check it out. Explosive tape exposes NDC evil plots. That's the banner headline, front page of the Daily Statesman. Communicators sweat in quotes in desperate damage control. And then Ofoswampofo must resign, says MPP. Later on in the day yesterday, we'll see an invitation. And oh my gosh, you know, we kind of knew how this was going to play out, right? So it was one of the things I said after the MPP press conference. Oh, police will invite him, and yes, they have.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk about the details of the tape as well, what we know.
Yeah.
And what I have heard. So I was talking to Dr. Kojo Asante of the CDD yesterday, and he said, listen, we've had tapes come out in this country, and
no reaction.
And the people allegedly making the comments on the table, speaking on the table, just simply come out and say it's doctored. How are we checking to see that, yeah, this is doctored or not? So, you know, even as CSOs, you know, like we should be able to take the tapes outside the country and get, you know, people who are qualified to tell us whether or not the tapes are doctored, so that we can put an end to this. Because somebody will go and say something and come back tomorrow and say that it's doctored. You know, they just say it and then we just let them go. You know, what is doctored anyway? Is it that you said the words, but is the arrangement that is been arranged in a way that you didn't approve, or what?
I don't know. It tend to be well edited then, because they tend to make so much sense.
Remix.
All right, so we have the Daily Dispatch newspaper. It has on the front page, NDC's Ofosu Ampofo, invited by police CID. This is the front page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Let me show it to you. It says NDC's Ofosu Ampofo invited by police CID over leaked tape. And who leaked Ofosu Ampofo's tapes and why? But we have other stories also on the front page, which you can always get on www.thedailydispatchgh.com. And it includes Adwoa Yeboah-Afari donates books to Ghana Library Authority. Former GJA president, he's worked with the Ghanaian Times as well, was one-time GJA Journalist of the Year. You know, Yao don't cause the evidence heard at NCA trial. And vividly, that will be the story on the front and back page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Let me do the last one. We have the Custodian. The Custodian has a number of stories on the front page. So we have MPP flays NDC over evil plots. Akufo-Addo congratulates Buhari. No hikes in power tariffs before June, according to the PRC. Our peace and security healthy. Kojo Nkrumah, the Minister of Information. And then we have President upset over fallen city. Okay, so those are the stories we have on the front page of the Custodian newspaper.
Okay, let's deal with the city, right? The city that we thought had been arrested, but now we're looking for it to arrest it. Why are you looking at me like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is in the center spread of the paper.
Yeah, before we do that, though, we have to... Okay. Continue.
This is weird. Okay, so details of the story, page 16 in the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Will arrest decline of city, President assures business community. So President Akufo-Addo has given a firm assurance that the government will work to restore the city to stability. And this is a quote from the president. It says, I am aware of the anxiety there is in business circles and through the population about the recent depreciation of the city. I am extremely upset and anxious about it too. I want to assure you that efforts have been made to arrest the decline and restore the city to stability in order to improve the competitiveness of Ghanaian businesses. And I think that very soon we will be seeing the results of our policy on code. So President Akufo-Addo said when he inaugurated a ceramic tile factory in Tema yesterday, you were talking about the factory and you're excited about it. Well, President
I'm excited. Yes, I am excited.
Yes, of course. I mean, it's a good thing to be excited.
Yeah.
I'm just picking the city angle, especially because the president didn't talk about it at all at the State of the Nation. It was almost as if, you know, that issue about the decline of the city didn't exist, you know, so...
so you're saying that because of excessive pressure, that's why he's talking about it?
I don't think so. I mean, you are the communications person. You were breaking it down and telling us that, well, he's
on the communication
he's hitting on his positives and, you know, yeah. So
anyway, but you also know, as we do the main discussions, we also know that we all this advocacy to make sure that we disband party militia, and so please make sure that you use the hashtag. Just watch this. We'll be right back.
Like all bad things in this country, we call bribes by fond names and we stop seeing them as bad. We call these things political vigilantism and we don't quite appreciate how bad. It is plain warlordism.
NCC will continue to condemn, name and shame all political parties who endorse, support, sponsor and/or identify themselves with any of these groups until these groups are disbanded in word and in deed.
Political parties must be made, compelled either by law, to immediately disband these groups. Not only disband the groups, disarm the groups.
Coming from my own experience in Liberia and what I saw, and my family, some family members actually fought in the war, and some died in the process. You know, people died, friends of mine died, and it touches everyone. I mean, when a situation comes, it doesn't know party colors, it doesn't know the color of your skin, what you're wearing, it doesn't know anything. This is not on, and we cannot, as a people, allow it to go on.
I believe that the time has come for us as a political class to say that this development is not good for the future of this country. We need to collectively stand up against this, development. That is what we politicians collectively must resolve to avoid, because nobody knows who the next victim will be.
Well, so make sure that you use the hashtag disband party militias now. And of course, if you know you're regularly on social media, that's what you need to do. Kojo, good morning to you.
How nice to see you both.
You're going to say Kojo has disbanded, you know, like they like disband participants now, just like Kojo Yang Singh has done. So welcome after what you've done.
Oh, thank you, thank you. It took all morning to disband them, but finally I'm here. Good to see you both.
Good.
I was watching you, and yeah.
So you know, waking up like after the rains is always very difficult. Like,
well, you rained at your place. You didn't rain, mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Where'd you live? It didn't rain yesterday.
Oh.
No, the weather seemed like, but it didn't rain.
Wow.
Oh.
Ooh.
Did it? Okay, because of where you guys live.
Yeah.
You know, near the cool ranges.
I mean, as for my place, it doubled rained because it rained.
I brought you some.
Not near
I was
the
going to say you want to be in the bed for longer, like pull the blankets. Is that what happened to you? Anyway, so we're talking about the city. We're talking about how the president has talked about it. The Ghana city is now how much to
I'm always teasing the president that he didn't make mention of it during the State of the Nation address.
I'm not teasing him.
I said the argument I made was that from a communication point of view, the president needs to
make an argument.
the president needs to talk about the good things and not have the bad things talk about for him to be picked on.
That's false.
Listen,
actually,
you believe
your
in
opinion.
You believe in that, that's fine. But we're talking about the states of the nation. Tell me the city is not a big deal.
Well,
The city is a big deal,
right?
Yeah, all of us are.
So let me tell you something about political communication.
Yes, sir.
If you want to, if you
Kojo
want to
Yankson.
win
It's on
your
Twitter.
audience over as a politician, first concede something, admit something that could have been better.
But he did admit on men's gold and all that.
So that, but did he admit it was a fault of government?
No, but he commented on
That's
it.
what I'm saying. Admit a fault. Admit something that you could have done better. Once you do that, you disarm anybody who is waiting, poised to criticize.
But the city is not at a crisis.
So that
a crisis point. Is the city
Roland,
in
are you the new communications president, person at the presidency?
when you are talking about your successes, the person is forced to concede with you because he admitted you were right when you said something wrong. So when you say something right, you must admit you are right as well. It's 101 of political communication.
Basic.
Okay?
That's what you mean.
So avoiding something that is so, and especially the city, which is so topical.
5.5.
There is no
where are you getting this figure from? I need to
reason. In fact, it's 5 point what?
Why do you want to challenge? Go and challenge the Forex Bureau people.
It's five. It's like 5.3 something at the moment.
Yeah.
5.27 a few days ago. On the day of the State of the Nation was 5.27.
Okay, so I'm picking this from myjoyonline.com.
Okay, all right, cool. So you see, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying to you. The president didn't do himself any favors by deliberately leaving it out.
Why?
Because it was deliberate.
But now he's talking about it.
In China,
because he's no. This is right here in Accra.
In Ghana. Okay, so
he was talking to the business community specifically because there's a new factory that's been opened, a ceramic factory.
Zhu Ningguan is the owner of the factory, right? That's where I got the China from.
Okay, no, this is in Ghana.
So he's the owner of a Ghanaian factory. All right. And the president is telling him that he will arrest the dollar.
I don't know the background to this.
Okay, okay. So you see, this is the point I'm making. Clearly, he can talk about it. Clearly, he can discuss it. So why leave it out of the State of the Nation? Is it not part of the state of our nation? The CD. In fact, in the run-up to the State of the Nation address, that was the most topical issue.
One of the.
No, it was the most topical issue.
We were also talking about the violence. You know, the vigilante
I'm talking
issue,
about when
security.
we were discussing the State of the Nation address. When we were discussing the State of the Nation address. The one issue that we were hammering on was the currency.
Okay, I guess I was also looking at this as security at some point.
For me, I don't think my position is going to change.
We're not asking you to defend the city. I mean, it's there for anybody to see. If you have $1 today and you go to go and exchange, so let's move on.
We all do know that
we're talking. These are facts. Whether it's 5.2, 5.3, 5 point whatever.
We, we all do know that we are in no control.
Roland Walker. I beg. Why were you the one who made the promise of arresting the city?
Now I'll shut up.
It's not true that we are
Thank
not in
you.
control. Did you hear Kojo Oponkuma's explanation for why the city has been losing value this year?
I heard him.
What did he say?
He said a number of things that could be topical. Can we move on?
So what he said was that the market had misread some actions that the Bank of Ghana took.
The market.
Yes. So the Bank of Ghana had to take some actions in consonance with the IMF deal, and the market misread those actions. So it was basically a miscommunication. That's according to the Minister for Information. A miscommunication between the Bank of Ghana and the market, which
But
is the
what
banks.
was the role of the economic management team?
Oh, you are asking intelligent questions.
I
Mama.
know,
But
but
the
you
point-
heard him. Yeah, I didn't
the
hear, so
point-
maybe he
the
touched on
point
it.
I'm making- but all of the Bank of Ghana and all of the policies that they enact are supposed to be
From the
independent.
economic.
No, they're supposed to be independent.
Okay.
Okay, so what he's telling us is that a miscommunication between Bank of Ghana and the banks, because the market is the banks. Okay, the miscommunication between those two has caused our city to lose what percentage of value just in the first 2 months of this year. So it means we caused it. We caused it. It's not some international, situation that caused our city to devalue. We did it. We did it by failing to communicate Bank of Ghana and banks. Bank of Ghana
That is
and
one
banks. It's
explanation.
not.
It's
It's
not
not,
the main
Bank of Ghana and Plumbers Association of Ghana. Bank of Ghana and banks failed to communicate, and our city is losing value.
Here's something the Bank of Ghana is communicating. I'm seeing this on our page, myjoyonline.com. It says Bank of Ghana issues list of licensed banks in Ghana. You might want to just go to myjoyonline.com and check it out. The list includes 23 commercial banks and 4 representative banks that are based outside the country. This is in accordance with Section 28(1) of the Banks and Specialized Deposit-Taking Institutions Act 2016, revised upward the minimum paid-up capital for existing banks and new entrant from 120 million, remember, to 400 million Ghana cedis. Okay, so you can read the rest of it on myjoyonline.com. You have to go and click to see the full list of licensed banks in Ghana. Hopefully your bank is in there. Otherwise, it's your wahala.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
You look through beginning to and your bank, where your money is, where your
No, so
salary
you just
came, is not there.
you keep quiet and you go and withdraw what you have there.
From where? That thing doesn't exist. Anyway,
Well.
I'm sure that
Oh, no,
won't
it
the
will
case.
be,
Everybody's bank will be there, and yeah.
Shall we talk about the leaked tape? Well, I mean, it's doctored, was leaked.
It
the
is? It's
office was
doctored?
backed. Apparently, it was. Or it is. The CID. Charlie, can we predict them? Can they prove us wrong one of the days?
Why, what did the CID do?
Tell me you didn't know that. After the MPP press conference, CID was going to invite someone for example.
Oh, yes.
But that's how it's always been.
What have they discovered? I mean, instead of just issue a statement and say, we are inviting you and, coming to... Listen, if they had taken the tape to go and check, if we don't have the facilities in Ghana, which I doubt we do, but collaborate with all these other institutions and check the authenticity of this tape before you invite the man. How about that?
So I have a question.
The man is saying... No.
Oh, you didn't
I
hear
have
Sami Jemfi say.
I have a question.
Ask for Mr. Fusampo. I haven't heard from him.
Oh, and
No,
by the way,
Mr. Fusampo says he's not been formally written to, so he will not go.
by the way, the NDC's statement says that the tape was doctored, right?
Yeah.
They say it's a fabrication.
Yeah. I heard Sami Jemfi. Even
No,
though
there's a
his
statement.
There's
deputy,
a formal
statement.
statement
even
that
though
says that it is
even though his deputy says it was the chairman,
Yes.
or it is the chairman.
So I'll leave them to sort that little discrepancy out. But for me, the thing that interests me is this. Did somebody make a complaint to the police? Because you know that if I'm robbed in front of a policeman, I still have to make a complaint before they can investigate. I still have to come in and give a statement. So who has given a statement?
But if it borders on national security.
Yeah, maybe this one borders on
then
national security.
should invite him.
No,
This
but
is the CID.
but the police,
The CID, Criminal Investigation
Yes.
Department.
the police.
So
if
the
it's of,
CID
if it's
will not come to my house to investigate an armed robbery in which my children have
could
been
I
shot.
disagree with you?
No, please, I'm telling you a fact of Ghana life. If you disagree, then you live in a different country.
So if it borders,
Because-
if it
If it
borders,
borders on
national
national security,
any of the branches could pick you up.
If it borders on national security, we have a national security force. They have been displaying their force recently. So for the CID to feel that they must step in and investigate, for me, it is curious. It is curious for an institution that will not lift an arm from their desk unless you come and make a complaint and often pay for a vehicle for the police to follow you to your house before they look into your matter. For me, it's curious.
Yeah.
But anyway, this issue of the tape being doctored.
No, wait. Let me say something.
Sure.
So the bit about So if you look at the Ayawaso West Wagon violence, for instance, as they've appeared before the commission, they say that for the investigative bits, even for them who went on the operation, it's the CID that's investigating. So they've kind of, because yes, so on the violence that happened there, the CID is
But somebody
handling
has
that.
made a complaint
And
to the police.
Which one is that?
In this matter, the NDC made a complaint. Some judge made a complaint, wasn't allowed.
So you're thinking that the investigation they're doing
NDC made a
is
complaint.
based on a complaint that somebody filed.
Yes.
But listen,
Okay,
I mean,
guys,
it's a national.
let's look at
it's a general security.
let's look at the
issue.
contents.
So I am looking at CID being that that does investigate. That's that does investigations. And we've seen it happen so many times in this country. A lot of people have been invited by the CID, even without anybody making a
And in
statement.
every single one of those cases, I'll wager my salary that it was a political issue.
Yeah, of course, obviously.
That is the point I'm making.
But
Okay,
this is
That is the
This
point
is a
I'm
political
seeking
issue.
to-
So that's why.
Thank you.
So that's why I
That's
said.
it. We have arrived at my point.
But we're speaking the same language. That's why I said that you can
Now I
predict.
get you. Now I get
You can
you.
predict
Exactly.
CID.
Now I-
You can
Exactly.
predict what they will do.
Exactly.
Now I get
That's
the
what
two
I'm
of
saying.
you.
That how about they fact check? Like not fact checking, authenticating
Yeah,
this.
fact-checking, yeah.
This doctored tape, so called, before they
Maybe-
start inviting
maybe
someone,
they seek to
because we can
authenticate it
also predict
through
that this will go
interview.
nowhere. Hello, are you
Maybe-
with me?
Yeah, maybe they seek to authenticate it through interview.
I have
So
said.
they'll ask him, "Is this your voice?" Yes, we have authenticated.
I
it.
have said I will kill you, Kojo. Are you a dead body?
Oh, my view.
I'm just saying. I mean, like, listen. I'm just.
Attempted murder is also a crime.
No, but where is the victim?
Oh, but he named them. He named a number of victims.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes before you make a move, you hit a wall, you come back. This won't take us anywhere.
Look, for me.
Why do we waste our time
the
on this?
matter of
Let's
interest-
find the 3 girls missing in
The
Takrady.
matter of interest here is that, look, people were beaten up at Ayawaso West Wogon on video. Roland filmed some of it. They went to make a complaint.
Why, were you there?
I said Roland filmed some of it.
We sent a crew, a team.
Thank you.
The team is made up of a cameraman, a sound man, and a reporter.
Yes.
Perspective.
Roland filmed some of it. That is still factual.
He was part of the crew that went there.
Roland, did you film some of it?
Part of the crew.
Thank you. Move on.
Okay.
JoyNews film.
I see where we are going with
it's
this.
It's a Joy News content.
I see where we are going with this. Okay, JoyNews filmed some of it.
Yes.
Anambwa.
That's it.
Appropriate.
Didn't
All right,
you see
so-
Joy
so-
News representing at the commission?
Yeah.
Through Evans Mensah. Oh, you didn't see it. You didn't see our lawyer too.
The body politics.
Okay.
Don't run into something, laddie.
I'm sorry, I'm now waking up. Please, JoyNews filmed some of it. And anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that that crime was captured on camera, and the victim went to report and wasn't allowed to report, according to him. That's what he said. Wasn't allowed to report it. The NDC then went to report to the IGP, and that is when an investigation was started. But in this case, a tape is released. The people on the tape deny that it is them, but still the CID sees
The people on the tape directly know you know, allegedly
When I say the people on the tape,
you
I
mean the
mean
party?
That's right. The party on the tape. The party on the tape denied that it is them, right? And by the way, when I say the people, the NDC has issued a statement. Okay, saying
I
it's
get
not.
you.
And that was the person alleged to be on the tape was the chairman. So the people on the tape have denied that it is them. But still, the CID sees enough here for them to start an investigation and invite someone for questioning. The one where there was video evidence shared robustly across the globe, they saw no evidence. But this one...
Oh, you can't say that. Because even the CID woman from East Legon says they've collected some evidence. You know, she tried to preserve what was there until the crime, how do they call them? Crime scene, they got there, you know, to begin the work. So you can't say that based on what we have heard.
Where is that work
She
now?
said today, Thursday, the police people will finish with the medical, you know, reports.
Pretty much a month.
So
a month
but
after
you know,
the event.
yes. Even the person,
report.
even the person who commissioned the team to go,
This
you know,
is
the
not
national security, and it turned out not to be a successful operation. He didn't even look into it.
Thank you.
So I mean, I'm just giving you.
Thank you.
But they say they are investigating.
I appreciate
Which is your problem?
My problem is that this time around they appear to be very quick off the mark.
Okay.
And this is
with
the
the
reason
tape.
why, yes, this is the reason why we keep hearing this thing about the police simply not being trustworthy. Okay, especially when parties are in opposition, they just can't trust the police because there is far too much influence from parties in power. The police themselves complain about it. And this is evidence.
Yeah.
This is evidence. It is just so blatant and shameful, to be perfectly honest with you. It's embarrassing.
I am with you on this 100%.
Now, the tape. This is what I had wanted to say about the tape and the suggestion.
You've taken your time to listen to all.
Yes, I have.
I think we all have listened to the tape.
No, I haven't listened to the entire. I listened to some bit and I open my mouth.
You should listen to the tape.
Yeah. So they say the tape is doctored. That means that they know what was said, right? And what is being said in this tape is not what was said. That's the only way you can.
Can I chip in? It's been rearranged. Continue.
Is that what they said?
Oh, I'm giving an interpretation to
It's
what
been
you have said.
tampered with.
Me, I want to understand.
I mean, it's
because
just the
what
words
they are
that has
saying is
been rearranged.
They are saying they know what was said. They know what was said. And what has been put out on this tape is not what was said. That's the only way you can argue that it's been doctored. Because if that is what was said, then it's not been doctored. So this is not what was said.
Maybe. CID has invited, so they will tell us.
Oh, no, I just want to verify a few facts. So the thing was doctored. You know when Anas did...
Number 12.
Yes. No, the one before, the judges. What was it called?
Oh.
The judges.
No, there was a name for it.
Yeah, there's a name for it. It's coming.
When he did it, his video and audio was called in, was used as evidence by the Judicial Council in their processes, administrative processes, with the judges who were depicted in the video. They brought in experts, Ghanaian experts, to authenticate the video and its, audio, in order for it to meet the standard of evidence. So these individuals and institutions exist here in Ghana. I can't vouch for their quality, but they are there.
You mean we have the expertise?
Yes, and they do work which is acceptable by judges. So I don't think we should quibble over this. If what was said or what we heard is not what was said, we can verify scientifically. We don't have to travel to do it. So let's be quick. Everybody has this tape now.
Why hasn't the CID done that before?
How do you know they have
before? That would be like.
I think.
Okay.
How do you know they haven't?
On that note, let me be quiet.
I think at the end of
But
the
if
day.
they haven't, and they've gone ahead to invite him. Oh my God.
I think at the end
I
of the
won't
day,
be
we all do agree that it looks like there's a certain advocacy or clamor for the political elites and any government in power to give the security apparatus or the agencies the free will or the free hand to do their work, to be independent. Yeah. But I think that sometimes they don't help themselves, because you find leading people heading those institutions, whether they were appointed by the police council or the hierarchy of the police service, of course, whose head will be appointed by somebody else, either the executive, etc. They also do not help themselves by the actions and the positions that they tend to take on many other related issues. And plainly, it smacks of double standards. And something that was not possible last year should not be possible this year. If something was possible last year, then it should be possible this year. And I think that that's the conclusion that we're all drawing. If you look at the swiftness with which they issue statement to invite people, and then the lackadaisical approach in not
CID is interesting, and when you just said
not
that,
inviting others.
there are
It
interested
speaks
parties in the
volumes about
Ayawaso
what they
thing. We haven't had CID right to invite anybody.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Even if they have, they haven't issued statements.
They haven't made it publicly.
Yes, they haven't
in
issued
terms of a
statements to the
statement.
nation.
Yeah.
And it's
Telling
been
us
happening.
all that
It's
they've
been
invited
happening over
somebody.
the years, especially in the Fourth
They
Republic,
haven't
so.
actually even issued any statement to give us an updates on the 3 kidnapped girls in Takoradi, for instance.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You know, there are a lot of public
Yeah.
interest things, and
What
this
were
is,
we talking about
this
2 days
is
ago?
so political. This
Or
is
just
so
yesterday?
political. You know, somebody allegedly makes comments. Most of it are intentions, right? Most of it are
No,
intentions.
there could still be crime there, but still.
No,
still.
I'm just, and then they even say it's doctored.
Yeah.
I get the point. Maybe they've authenticated it as CID, which I doubt very much. And anyway, it's okay.
But you're right.
It's okay.
This is not standard operating
It's
procedure
okay.
for police. This is not what we have
How
been
do
made.
we know?
That-
We are not in the service.
No, I'm saying that this is not the procedure they have made us know. This is not what we've seen them do in the past. This is certainly not how they are handling other cases. You know, so yes, when I say it's not standard operating procedure, that's what I mean. They don't do this in every case. You know, so well, but anyway. Oh, by the way, very quickly on the CD.
We're going back to the city.
Just quickly.
Let us
just
talk
quickly,
about
just
ECJ.
quickly. Have you noticed how every conversation we have about the city, we're asking, or we're sort of making reference to Dr. Baumia? Obviously, because of the comments he made in the run-up to the election. And, you know, even after the election, when he said the city has been arrested.
It's not about the
and all
comments
of
he made
that.
run up. I think he's been doing that since 2012.
Yeah, okay, so the comments he made, right, before the election.
In opposition.
Yeah, before the election. Yeah, that's the point.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so because of what he's been known for, you know, talking about the economy, and at some point there was even a dispute between the NDC and the NPP whether or not he's an economist. All of that has brought him to this point. He's now the head of the economic management team. So everybody asks him questions when there is a problem with the economy. And it seems we've all conveniently forgotten that there is a man who we are paying a salary every month to manage the economy.
Oh.
And that man's name is Ken
Ofori-Atta?
Ofori-Atta, the finance minister.
But in opposition, they were blaming the former vice president or the late vice president.
No, they were not.
They,
It was all about Seth Tekpe. Yes.
and the questions were addressed to who?
Oh, that was Dr. Baumia doing politics with the person who he was,
So,
who he considered his opposite
so now we
number.
conclude that Dr. Baumia was doing politics with the economy.
Of course. I don't think this is a new conclusion. Wasn't it politics they were doing? They were trying to get into power. That doesn't mean they were wrong.
But we all seem to
That
have
doesn't
faith.
mean they were wrong, but they were certainly doing politics. I mean, there's no disputing that. But this is the point I'm making. We are paying someone to manage the economy. That person has 3 deputies.
And you're talking about
There
the
is an
finance
entire,
minister.
yes, there is an entire ministry that disburses all money to all corners of this economy, manages the Bank of Ghana. That's the man's job. But nobody is asking him anything We prefer to direct all our questions to Dr. Baumia.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Even if you ask him, will he say there?
But how do you know until you've asked him?
Because even
and it's not even about asking him, Mama
even the vice president that you're asking, has he said fake?
It's not even about asking. It's about calling for accountability. So it's not about whether they will respond or not.
I get it, but how often don't we ask questions?
We don't ask the finance minister anything. We don't ask him anything.
Okay. Call him and ask him. Let's see what he would say.
So let's wrap up now. So let me just have my wrap-up comment. I think that we all do agree that the city is not doing well. Now, no.
Oh my God!
Please. We all do agree.
Are you a Eugene here?
No. We all do agree that the city is not doing well, but we are also concluding that whatever Dr. Baumia was saying in opposition was mere politics.
We're not concluding. It is a fact.
I think he's reminding us that there is a finance minister in the team.
That doesn't mean that what you are saying is wrong.
So the explanation that we've always known, which is true, is that if you look at the base or structure of our economy, there's no way the CD is going to be stable for a long time. And that's the truth.
Can we talk about some sports?
The government themselves say that they caused it. That there was a miscommunication.
So watch out.
Maybe that was a communication
Watch out for Kojo Yanson's conversation with the finance minister later this morning here on our show. In the meantime, we'll bring you some sports, a lot of midweek action in the English Premier League and elsewhere.
Yeah. We didn't talk about Nasser's tip.
Yes, the Galamsey.
We don't have.
I tried to watch it yesterday, but I couldn't.
Oh, you watched it? No, I was on radio last night, so I missed it when it was on live.
Sorry.
But
I was trying to watch it online yesterday in the afternoon, but I think my PC was too slow. I couldn't. Yeah.
We'll have to watch it and talk about it. Very important.
Yeah. All right. So we'll bring you some sport. It's football, it's tennis, and a whole lot more coming up next here on our show.